but I'm going to try my best to just simplify the kit as much as I can so it's understandable for all of you guys. So first things first, she ascends with crit rate, so she is a damage dealer. That's good. Her normal attack. All you need to know for a normal attack is that you know that for every Fontaine character, they're either Numa or Oisha, and they can inflict one of those elements throughout those attacks and can counter specific Fontaine enemies. Well, Furina can be Oisha or Numa, and she can switch when she charge attacks. So she will start with Oisha, but if you charge attack, she'll switch to the other one. So this comes into a play with her skill. So when she uses her skill and she's in Oisha, which she starts off with, she will summon 3 animals, and these animals will deal off-field hydro damage based on Furina's max HP, and whenever they attack, they will consume the HP of your party members and will deal more damage based on HP consumption. Think of this like Fischl's Oz. That's how it seems like it'll work. In contrast, when she is in the Numa form, instead of dealing damage, the animals will heal your party members. So as we can see with the actual numbers at talent level 9, her skill has a 20-second CD but a 30-second duration, which is consistent with Archons having full uptime on their abilities. As you can see, all of her damage is based on HP scaling, so definitely build HP on her. And then we can see the HP consumption values and the healing that she does right here. So it's very interesting that she can deal off-field damage, or you can choose for her to heal her team. So she's very flexible in that sense. Now I'm not sure how much she actually heals and whether she can really solo sustain a team like an actual heal like Kokomi. But my prediction is that you will probably want to stay in the Oisha form because there's actually coordinated attacks that apply hydro off-field, and whenever there's off-field damage dealer that actually does good amount of damage, that's usually what you want to stay as, and that's what makes a good character. So I predict that you want to stay in this Oisha form for the damage, so you're going to have your teammates' HP be consumed a good amount. So you probably want to pair her with a healer. Next, her burst. So we can see 70 energy cost, 18-second cooldown, but 18-second duration. So again, full uptime. Basically, when she uses her ult, she'll do an initial blast of damage based on her HP, and during the duration of her ult, which is 18 seconds again, whenever her teammates' HP increases or decreases, which follows the theme of Fontaine characters, she will gain stacks called fanfare, and she can gain a maximum of 450. The more fanfare stacks that she gets, she buffs your team's damage percent and healing bonus, as you can see by the conversion ratio here at talent level 9. And she gets stacks based on how much her party members either increase or decrease based on their max HP. So TLDR, you want to have her ult up 100% because it just gives damage percent to your whole entire team. This is great. She's a buffer and she does damage. So here's her TLDR of Furina's kit, just to summarize everything. She can be Oisha or Numa, can switch with her charge attack. When she's in Oisha, her skill does off-field damage and consumes the party HP for more damage. When you're in Numa and you're in the skill, her skill heals the party. And lastly, when she ults, the ult deals initial damage, and then when your party gains or loses HP, Furina gains stacks, and these stacks increase your party's damage percent and your healing percent. Let's quickly go over her talents. Her first talent is basically when your active character is healed over their max HP by another character, not Furina, then Furina will heal another party member, so it's extra healing if you have another healer on your team. Her second talent increases her E coordinated attack damage when she's in Oisha based on their max HP, and it decreases the healing interval of her skill when you're in Numa form by her max HP. So HP is good, buffs her E skill, nice. And her last little fun secret passive is the ability when you go underwater and then you like take a seal ability or like the manta ray ability and they have a special ability that gets decreased, so cool. And lastly, I'll go over Constellations. Now personally, I'm not too invested in Constellations because I don't have the premiums to pull for them, but we can just go over it really quickly. C1 gives her 150 stacks when she ults and increases her max by 150. Now, I think this is really good. It might be one of her best early cons. It's just free damage percent because her stacks give damage percent. Now her C2 is a mouthful, but just to summarize it, when you use her skill, she will give herself a hydro infusion for 10 seconds. So C2 kind of changes her playstyle to be more on field for those 10 seconds. So now the interesting thing is when Furina is in her Numa skill state, her normal charge and plunging attacks, which are converted to hydro, will deal extra damage based on their max HP. And when she's in the Oasia form, her infused attacks will heal your party. But if we look at what her skill normally does, her Numa, where her infused auto attacks gain damage, her regular Numa just heals the party, while in Oasia, when her normal attacks heal the party, her normal skill does damage. So it's kind of reversed. And this makes C2 interesting in the sense where if you want her to deal on-field damage, you're losing E-skill damage, her normal E-skill damage, and then vice versa. So I think it's a cool playstyle choice if you want Furina to be on field, but I don't think it's one of those OP C2 constellations, because there's a trade-off from if you want to increase your Furina's on-field damage, then you lose the E skill damage. C3 increases her skill level, nice. C4 gives Furina extra energy when her E skill hits an opponent or heals your ally, so cool, extra energy. C5 increases her burst level, that's nice. And lastly, C6 increases the amount of stacks that you get when your party member's HP increases or decreases, and when you go over the stack limit, then Furina's max HP will increase. So whales, I guess, cool constellation. I don't have much to say about it. Just my initial thoughts on what gear might be going in there for weapons. Because a lot of her damage is in her skill, I think Festering Desire will be very strong on her. Now, I know Festering Desire is quite an old weapon and not many people have it, but if you do have it, it increases elemental skill damage, and her skill does most of her damage and increases elemental crit rate. And on top of that, it gives energy recharge to make sure you have enough energy for her ult. I think this is going to be a very strong weapon for her. Now, other than that, I don't think you can go wrong with Favonius Sword. Favonius Sword is always good, so you can use that too. In addition, we don't have information on her signature weapon, but obviously it'll probably be her best weapon. There are probably other weapons good with her, but those are just my two initial thoughts. But of course, you can wait for more people to do some calcs, and then perhaps there'll be also other options for her. And I don't doubt there'll be other options for her. We have a lot of swords. Now, as for her artifact sets, because a lot of her damage comes from her Oz-like skill, I think the new golden troop that increases elemental skill damage will be very good on her. Other choices may include the other set that's in this domain. I'm not too sure about this one because you can't take advantage of the normal and charge attack, but I guess it can work. Otherwise, I think it's also safe to go 2-piece HP, 2-piece Hydro, maybe the 2-piece golden trope if you want, and that would be perfectly fine. But I would definitely aim for the 4-piece golden troop. As for artifact stats, HP percent is a no-brainer. Now, you could go Hydro damage bonus and I think it'll be fine, but because she has so much HP scaling, I'm pretty sure HP Goblet will be perfectly fine on her. And lastly, crit rate, crit damage depending on your stats. So just an overall thought of how strong I think she will be. Archons are typically strong, and I don't think this is an exception. She has off-field hydro damage from her skill, and her skill acts like Oz, and we know how good Fischl is already. She can buff her entire team's damage for ult. Both her ult and her skill have permanent uptime, and because she has off-field damage and she's hydro, that hydro application is really good because we all know how good off-field hydro application is with Yelan and Xingqiu. So yes, she's gonna be a strong Archon. You should probably pull for her. Now, what teams will she be good in? Will she replace Yelan or Xingqiu or other hydro characters? I think it's a bit too early to tell. Just wait for people to analyze the kit more and do some calculations. I know there's plenty of people who do that. I might link a couple that I think that are good in the description. And that's it for Furina's kit. Hydro Archon looks strong. Can't wait to pull her.